What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video. Today is just a bit of a discussion video because it's a comment that I've gotten recently, and actually somebody had recently DM'd me, and I chatted with them about this because it's kind of interesting because the Leafs are in a good spot right now, but as a Leaf fan and as a hockey fan, you always look ahead. And I know that's a good and a bad thing sometimes, of course, but it's usually a bad thing to look ahead, especially with this team. But you always look towards that deadline, the trade deadline, and think, how can this team improve? They're good, but how can they improve? Now, as it leads up to the deadline, of course, we're ways away. The season just started. But as we get closer, of course, I'm going to be making more videos about this. And as rumors and trade talk, all that stuff like that happens, there's going to be more and more talk about how this team can improve, especially if they keep playing at the pace they're on right now, because they're very, very good. So in this video, I just wanted to be a bit of a discussion. I haven't been posting a lot lately because there hasn't been really a ton going on other than the games. And I haven't been able to do the reviews because I've been working like crazy full-time hours. I've been exhausted. So this unfortunately has taken a little bit of a back burner, but I'm very committed to trying to post more and maybe do more live streams where we can talk and be connected more. So if you are new here and you want to see some Leafs content, especially live streams and podcasts coming up, make sure to like this video and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. I know a ton of people here who are watching are not subscribed, so I'd greatly appreciate it. So let's get into the bulk of this video. Like I said, somebody had said, how can the Leafs improve? How are they going to be able to make a trade? Their cap situation, all that stuff. But let's just do a little bit of homework here first. So in the Atlantic right now, Toronto sits second. Now they've played a few more games than some teams, of course. You look at Boston here, they've played 5 less games than Toronto. But the way I always look at it is sure, they're a little bit behind in games played, but the Leafs already have accumulated these points. So any teams that are, games behind them in terms of, points and whatever else, stuff like that, they got to win those games to catch up. We've already gotten there, so let's just look at it like that. We're already here. We played 20 games. We have the 27 points, so teams still have to catch up to us. Those games in hand, they have to win those games to catch up. Florida is a beast right now. They're just playing so well, so obviously they're a team to look out for, but at least Toronto is in the hunt. They look really good to start the year, which I didn't have a ton of expectations, but as you can see, they're in the top 10, top 5 currently in the NHL, but I would say more top 10 just because of the games played aspect. Look at Anaheim, man. They're playing really well, but definitely something to look forward to as we itch closer. Hopefully they continue to play really well, because all this will mean is that they're going to be a team that can add rather than subtract this year. And the other reason why I'm making this video too is because the question I always get is like, when are they going to fire Dubas? When are they going to fire Keefe? Is Shanahan going to get fired? Are they going to trade one of the big 4? As much as it's been repeated so many times over and over again about how this is the last shot, this is the last shot. No, in my opinion, this is like legitimately the last chance. This team has just been over and over and over again reminded that it's not working. It's not enough. They keep getting bounced in the first round. And that's why I'm making this video. I like making these videos every month or so about just a little bit of an update of where the team is at and how the season's going, and why especially this season, why this is it for a lot of people. I think this is it for Dubas. If they continue to play like they have in the playoffs, I think they'll look at Keefe, especially if a new GM comes in, because usually GMs have their own guy. They'll maybe look at Shanahan, and again, with a new GM coming in, they'll probably move some players. So again, that's why I'm making this video. I want to show why the Leafs have the assets, and they could potentially have the money to at least make some decent moves this upcoming deadline. Now, they are getting scoring from their top guys, which is good. 17 and 20 from Marner, 16 and 19 from Johnny T, 16 and 20 from Nylander, 15 and 17 from Matthews, 13 and 20 from Riley, and then you start to go down where you get Kerfoot 11 and 20, Bunting 9 and 20. Kosh has been really good as of late. Kampf is adding defensively. Spets has been good. And then, of course, you go down the line and, they've had their guys. Campbell is having an absolutely amazing season, 1.66 goals against average and a 944 save percentage. And Joseph Woll has been good in the games he's played. And, of course, Mrazek is still injured. Now, again, the point of this video is to show you guys how they can add. Now, if you remember last year, the Leafs didn't look like they had a ton of money either. But Freddie ended up on LTIR. They ended up with all this extra money. But they had to be very careful with it. They still had to get double retention from some teams. They still had to make moves that were more cap friendly, no pun intended, because I'm about to use it. But as you can see, as it stands currently, that the cap space is at $3.9 million. Why that number looks so good is because you have Mrazek and Ilya Mikheyev currently on the long-term injured reserve. Now, when Mrazek comes back, that space, just for the sake of this video, we'll put Woll on LTIR. And then, of course, when Mikheyev comes back, all of a sudden now you're in the whole, 800 grand. So this is why some of the rumors could be that the Leafs might have to shed some cap, which they definitely are going to have to. They could send a guy down, whatever. But I think they like a lot of the guys that are with the team right now. But I still can see moves being possible. I see a guy like Travis Dermott, even though he's played pretty good this year, he could be a guy that gets moved. There's still a possibility, and I know some people think I'm nuts, but before the deadline, if the Leafs are really not satisfied with how Nick Ritchie is playing, I honestly think that they might take a look to see if teams would take him. And I love seeing this on Twitter. I absolutely love it. Is people saying, oh, they'll never be able to trade Ritchie, or nobody wants Dermott, nobody wants Mikheyev, blah, blah. Guys, there's been players that have 5 or 6 years of term left on their deals that are like paying $5 to $6 million getting traded. You just have to have the right assets attached to that player, or a team might be looking for a player with term that they just need to be a leader and hope that they can rejuvenate. There's been tons of guys that have been traded that you would have never guessed that they would have been moved because of their contract. I'm not worried about a $2.5 million Nick Ritchie. I'm not worried about a $1.6 million Ilya Mikheyev. And I'm not worried about a $1.5 million Travis Dermott. Any of these guys can get moved. Hypothetically, I think the Leafs probably hold on to Nick Ritchie. I think obviously that the four guys, these four guys are not going anywhere. Kasha, Kerfoot, and Kampf have been really good. Spets is not going anywhere. Simmons probably not going anywhere. You have a guy like Pierre Engvall who could get buried in the minors. And it also depends on how good Mikheyev plays when he comes back. Because if he's really good, then that's great. If he's not so good, then he's on the hot seat. Maybe that's a guy that gets moved also, like I said. But the most logical thing here is, again, Woll will probably be a guy that gets sent down because they're still going to have to go with this tandem, because when Mrazek's healthy, you're hoping he plays really well. You could trade Dermott. You could send Liljegren back down, but the way he's been playing, I don't think you can. One of the most logical moves that they could make is more than likely sending down a guy like Pierre Engvall, because his contract can be buried, and that gives you an extra $341,000 in cap space. Now, most of his deal, as you can see here, that $125,000, that still counts towards this cap hit. So that would be the cap space that they would have when everybody is healthy. And then, like I said, you could trade a guy like Travis Dermott. I'm just using LTIR here to depict the cap space, because he would be traded, and that gives you 1.8 million. And then again, you can move around, guys. You can see what's going to happen here. You might, who knows, maybe towards the deadline they give a guy like Robertson a chance if he's healthy. Maybe they give somebody else a chance. Maybe Clifford comes up. They try to use him in a different way than what they're using somebody on this team like Mikheyev. Maybe they want him on the fourth line to play with Simmons and Spezza. I don't know. All I'm saying is that the Leafs definitely do have the wiggle room to make a trade. Like I said, if they did want to make a little bit of a splash and try to get a guy that would be a top six type of guy, then you would probably move on from Nick Ritchie as well, and give yourself an opportunity to be in the $3 to $4 million cap space range. But again, this is all hypothetical. This is just me answering a question and making a video to try to turn it over to you guys. And I want to ask you guys, what do you think so far of the Leafs? Do you think that towards the deadline they're going to make a move? Do you think that they're going to sell guys? Do you think they're going to add to this team? Again, this is just an update video, so don't take it too seriously. I wanted to answer a question and do it in the way that I do it, and that is in a video form. So if you guys are new here, make sure to like this video and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Join the squad. Thank you so much for watching. The Leafs have been really good, so it's fun to make these videos. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you in the next video or stream. Peace.